totally wish I had a joint right now, except I don't. So we're just gonna do this. I used Shazam for the first time today, and I'm really, really proud of myself, okay? And the song that I Shazammed was Riptide by Vance Joy. And we were inside of Harris Teeter. And I felt like I had heard it before, except I just didn't know the name. And I just feel like I joined the Shazam crew. There's so many songs that I want to know the name of. It's just I legitimately have not downloaded the freaking app until right now. And with that being said, I just finished watching this beautiful film that made me fall in love. It's the type of genre that I don't usually watch because I'm not really like a drama, comedy, popcorn, cliche type of person. I typically don't really find those movies that entertaining or substantial, which is probably why, like, if that is your genre, the substanceless quality about them is probably what makes it enjoyable. It's just that for me, I just really enjoy things to be a little bit more heavy and kind of dark. And I was scrolling through movies on Max, trying to find something to watch while I eat my vegan pizza that I got from Harris Teeter. Actually, I don't usually eat pre-prepared foods that are vegan, like pizza or the little like burgers and nuggets and, you know, like vegan cheese and, you know, like all of that pretend food stuff that they just make vegan. I don't really like doing that because it just doesn't feel right to me. And I perceive those things to be comfort foods. So I popped a freaking pizza in the oven, and I found this movie titled Mistress America. And what really like drew me to it was the picture. The picture was so warm and vibrant and inviting. And I really just was like, ooh, what's this? And it turns out I freaking loved it. I stuffed my face with the entire pizza all in one setting, and I genuinely laughed. I think humor is one of those things that I have to adjust to, because I don't think all humor is the same. And I definitely feel like you can conform and over time come to understand the type of humor that's being used. And I feel like with this film, I think the dialogue was so sweet and intelligent. I feel like it was genuinely funny. And not funny because there were jokes. I think it was funny because you can tell they genuinely, like, possibly had a really good time creating this film. And I love that. And I also love just sitting in front of the TV eating an entire vegan pizza with no cares or worries in the world, because I just feel like that's how I'm supposed to be living life as a 22-year-old. It's like, yeah, maybe I should be finishing this painting. Am I? No, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch this freaking movie. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. I think the aesthetic, at first, it felt cliche. And then over time, I began to understand, like, that's kind of the point a little bit. It's meant to be relatable. And I think that when stories are relatable, there are certain aspects and things about the aesthetic that kind of have to be typical and traditional and conventional, and definitely is giving you romance, comedy, drama. Like, it wasn't really a romance movie, although it was romantic. And I loved the two main characters, the actresses. I think living in New York City is so romanticized, especially in my mind. And, you know, it's not even like romanticized in a way where I'm not acknowledging the parts of living in New York that is pretty much like the fact that it just really isn't as glamorous as it sounds, like the reality of living in New York. I mean, I definitely think you can make it like glamorous. Is it glamorous though? I mean, like, it's New York. I mean, there's just people everywhere and the sky's falling and it's totally normalized. Still, I think that the dialogue was very intelligent. I loved the narration. I love stories that have narrators, and I love when the narration isn't necessarily like just telling us what's happening in the story. I love when it adds a layer of context and fabric. When it adds a layer of fabric to the story that gives it more dimensions and gives it texture and color, and when it's so poetic, I love it. I loved the portrayal here. I loved the creative writing. I loved how relatable it was. Again, I think that before today, if I had discovered this film, I probably would have not liked it at all because of how predictable and cliche it is, just due to the nature of the story. I probably would have been like, yeah, that movie was super substanceless and I just didn't like it. I was super, super, totally, deeply, thoroughly overthought and analyzed it. And today I'm not going to do that. Why? Because I enjoyed it in the way that it's supposed to be enjoyed. Super, super carefree, okay? While just comforting myself with food, because I had a really, really sad day. I really did. I freaking sobbed and cried. The freaking skies were gray. And I just felt like I had this major realization that maybe I had been abandoned by almost everyone that I have ever loved. I think, and it's genuinely possibly because of my humor and the fact that I don't take jokes as jokes. Like, they don't resonate with me as something that's funny. Like, I don't perceive the humor in jokes because I feel like there's no such thing. I feel like everything that you say, even if you're saying it with a sarcastic tone, even if you don't really mean it, you do mean it. There's truth in everything. And so I think that there have been so many times where I've maybe subconsciously ended a lot of relationships because I took someone's joke directly to the heart. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm not going to say that, oh, maybe I shouldn't have. I don't regret anything because I realized that that's just who I am. And you know what? There's two quotes that I really want to talk about. I'm really jumping around right now, but I'm going to come back. I don't like the word but. I am going to come back. I'm going to come back to the stream of thought that I'm on. I just want to talk about these two concepts, these two thoughts that were present in this film, Mistress America. Did I say Mistress of America? There's no of, it's just Mistress America. Okay, so check me out. There was this thing that she said, and it was about beauty, and she said she has the kind of rare beauty that makes you want to look more like yourself and not like her. And I love that. I think that that is so beautiful. I think that that is the most raw, the most honest and truthful and realistic demonstration of beauty, the type of beauty that does not make you want to copy or imitate or mock, the type of beauty that just makes you want to be more of yourself, and the type of beauty that empowers you to no longer compare, to not try to change who you are, just to be an even greater expression of what it is that you have within. I do think that it is a very rare kind of beauty because we live in a society that portrays beauty as something that is an art of imitation, that in order to be beautiful, you have to manifest a certain image, and that image may not always be you. It could be this standard that is held and is claimed as perfection. And I feel like knowing someone who is so beautiful that they make you only want to be yourself in their presence, I think that is absolutely priceless. Okay, now moving on to the second thing. She said, the character Brooke, she's talking to like this guy. I don't really want to give away the whole story. I mean, like, you can watch it, not watch it, whatever, but I'm literally omitting the word but from my vocabulary, because I have no reason to contradict myself, and I think that it's such a normalized thing, contradicting yourself, and it's just not the way that I want to live my life anymore. So anyways, going back to the point that I was saying, she said, she already knows so much about herself, that's why therapy doesn't work. And that resonates so much, because I feel like when you genuinely do know yourself, life is therapy. Life is therapy. Everything is therapy. When you aren't afraid of looking at yourself and being like, okay, yeah, that's exactly who I am. And are people gonna not like it? Maybe. Am I gonna change it? Not at all. Because I can accept the true nature of my own reality, and I can stand strong in the decisions that I make. And I feel like when you know the reasoning behind all of your actions and like all of your choices, and you just genuinely know yourself inside and out, what can a therapist tell you that you cannot look in the mirror and see? And when I say mirror, I don't just mean a literal physical mirror. I mean it in a very metaphorical, figurative way as well. When you look at your life, when you look at your reality, when you look at the universe in which you live, right? Like, are you seeing yourself? And if the answer is no, then maybe therapy is for you, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong with doing therapy in whatever way that works for you. I just also feel like if you can see yourself in everything that you come into contact with, that is therapy. That is the point. I feel as though, and within that, you can unlock everything that you need in order to be. And so those are just two things that I really, really loved. And I feel like because there were these super, super, super like amazing moments where I was just like, yes, I think that's really why I enjoyed it more than I probably would enjoy other cliche movies. And like, I don't mean to be offensive by calling this a cliche movie. It's just that it has cliche aspects about it. You know what I mean? And that's okay. Like, and so, okay, going all the way back to the original stream of like thought that we were rowing down, when I was talking about humor and jokes and me not being able to take a joke, and that being something that I feel like at first made me insecure, because people can make it seem like you're making a big deal out of nothing. I think for myself, I just have to make it clear and make it be known that I am not the type of person that you joke around with. Like, I don't like the whole, like, being mean to each other as a way of bonding. It's just, it's endearment. Like, that isn't enjoyable for me. I don't like that. I feel like if we are going to be in each other's lives, I want to hold the same amount of respect for each other that we did when we weren't familiar, when we didn't know each other. I feel like being nice to each other in the same way that you would be nice to a stranger is so important for me and my relationships, because I don't want to lose that aspect of respect. Because I feel like once you let that go and you cross over this boundary into familiarity and you get comfortable and, start to take things into a realm of humor, I don't like it, because you can easily hurt each other's feelings in a way that I just feel like is unnecessary, and I don't like it. I am not the type of person that you try to bond with by talking about me or being mean to me or, bringing up something that I told you and turning it into a joke. That is going to hurt my feelings, and I don't like it. And anybody that has ever done that to me in my life, I no longer talk to, and I want to stay far away from them because I don't like that. I don't like being mean to the people that I love, even if it is for fun and games, even if it is a joke, even if it is humorous and sarcastic. I don't like it because I feel like we should always respect each other. There are moments and there are times where, yes, we can laugh, and maybe, yes, we can make jokes. It doesn't have to be about each other, though. It doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be that. And it just bothers me sometimes because I don't think it's funny. Simply. And I feel like if that is the type of humor and the type of bonding and the type of relationship that you want to have, you will not be able to keep me in your life, because there will always be something pushing me away from you, because I do not tolerate malice. I don't do it. Even if it is hidden right under this sarcasm, under this humor, it doesn't matter. It's still malicious, and we don't have to be mean to each other. And I feel like for me, I would rather all of my relationships be extremely formal and stay above the surface than to have them be informal and super, super personal and have people joke about things that just mean a lot to me. You know what I mean? Even if it's just little aspects about my personality and maybe I do something that's I don't know, kind of goofy or something. And I feel like there is a difference when there is a joke made and we can laugh with each other about something that's objectively funny. And I feel like when things are only subjectively funny, I think that crosses a boundary. And the basic point that I'm trying to make is that I would rather the respect in my relationships maintain the sort of same level of formality that we had when we were strangers. I would prefer that. I would prefer to still greet each other and talk to each other and act like things are still formal, because they are. The truth is, we don't really know each other. We know as much as we allow ourselves to express about ourselves, and as much as we are willing to realize that we share in common. Okay, side note, I have this guitar purse, right? I have this purse that's shaped like a guitar, and it's been bringing me so much attention. Oh my goodness. I go out in public and people are commenting on my bag, and it's been shifting my world in ways, because I am a loner. I am truly, truly, truly a loner. And I think that that's something else that was really relatable about this. The main character, Tracy, baby Tracy, she's pretty much kind of loner. She has her friends or the people that she hangs around, but most of the time, the word but, I caught it, she is by herself, and I just feel like when I'm out in public and I get more attention than I really intend to get, just because I have a bag that is pretty much a statement piece and it screams, that's the bag. And that's what it's doing, and it makes people look at me and say, oh, I like your purse. And I've been wearing it because it's a really cool bag. I feel like a rock star every time I freaking wear it, because I am a freaking rock star. It's just that the attention, it's just making me nostalgic of fame, and it's just kind of making me want to go crawl into a ball and hide inside of a room with a really small closet, close the door and just lock it and just stay there until the next world That's so dramatic. Still, sometimes I'm just like, oh, okay, attention. People are looking at me and acknowledging my existence. Okay. Right. So, yes, I think also for me, wanting to be a fashion model has just like by itself romanticizes moving to New York and living the whole like fast-paced fashion model, exquisite, just like extraordinary lifestyle. That in LA, like going to Los Angeles, leaving New York, going to Los Angeles because you think that there's something else out there for you, and probably just the exact same thing that's in New York. Maybe it's delivered, right? Like maybe it's presented differently because there are two completely different opposite sides of the country, east, west, right? So they're going to be delivered differently. Still, I feel like it's the same sort of plate that you're being handed. The same kind of people, the same kind of energy. It's still the same. I just feel like I'm just recently getting over this whole, like I need to escape and go to LA and just like be out there and just become like freaking actress and a movie star and just be so Hollywood or something, like maybe become a writer or whatever, dreams I've been sold over the years. And now I'm just like, okay, well, whatever happens just happens. Honestly, I think, well, here's something. My laptop transitioned, okay? My laptop passed over into the next life. I had a cup of ice that I was going to eat. It was like a really big, giant cup of ice. Like, when you go to 7-Eleven, they give you those big gulp cups. Yeah, one of those just with nothing but ice. And I was going to eat the ice because it comforts me sometimes. I stopped eating ice, though, because I realized it's sort of like an addiction. And it doesn't really do great things as most comfort foods do. Even though some people probably wouldn't call ice a food. For me, it just does certain things. Either way, I had this cup of ice and I was gonna eat it, and then I didn't eat it, and I ended up falling asleep, and the cup ended up falling on my laptop. And since then, my laptop hasn't turned back on, and I've been trying to write stories, and I've been trying to like cultivate my freaking scripts and my screenplays on my cellular device, and it's been such a freaking like out of this world experience trying to get my ideas and my thoughts onto this little tiny cellular freaking phone. And just watching this made me nostalgic of writing on a laptop and just how much I actually love being a writer and how much of a necessity it is, and how I actually need it for my sanity. That and painting. I want to finish my painting tonight. Like, that is something that I intend to do. Will it happen? Maybe. After I do like a few tarot card readings, and then I'll dive back into my canvas. I did start on my canvas today, though. Like, that, I feel like I can give myself credit for that. You know what I mean? I did put paint on my canvas, and I feel like that is an accomplishment by itself. You know what I mean? And so here I am now. Gonna take a deep inhale because that was a lot of thoughts. It was a lot of thoughts. I am gonna get on a plane tomorrow and go to Las Vegas for a week. Haven't ever been to Vegas. I'm 22. I wanted to go for my 21st birthday. It just wasn't in the plan that way. My 22nd birthday, which was in December. Now it's April. And technically, I could say it's still happening, you know what I mean? Just a little bit of a late birthday celebration, and that's okay. I'm really hoping that maybe I just find, like, a really, really beautiful, like, very average, mediocre businessman and, like, fall in love and just get married while I'm in Vegas. Because, like, let me tell you, okay, I have been, like, under the impression that my husband is going to be, oh my goodness, it's starting to rain. Can you hear the raindrops? Hello, rain. I've been under the impression that my husband is going to be some kind of like big global superstar, like, and he's going to be a celebrity, he's going to be famous. And then last night I had this major epiphany while I was doing a tarot reading where I was like, oh my goodness, what if I don't even want that? What if that's just what I think I want, because it's romanticizing, you know, all of the men that I see, or all of the men that I've like assumed that I could be with have all been like really, really super popular, famous men, you know. And then I was just like, you know, what if that's not even what I want? What if I just want a man who's really, really happy with his normal average 9-to-5 job, and maybe he makes really, really great money. Like, maybe he makes the money that he believes that he deserves, and he wears suits all the time, and you know, he just wants to buy his freaking wife a house and just live a really normal, average, typical American family dream. What if that's really what I want? Now, am I going to be the average, typical American dream wife? Absolutely not, because I'm in no way just, you know, able to conform to conventionalism to that degree. It's just not in my nature. Still, I believe that I could also be very, very happy with a man who is perfectly fine with living his normal life out of the spotlight, and he doesn't have any desire to be famous ever at all. And I feel like I could love him so deeply and just truthfully and genuinely and not want anything more, you know, like that's also a possibility. And I just feel like, what if I just went to Vegas and just found the love of my life, and you know, everything is just perfect. Apparently they have beaches in the hotels. Like, what is that? How? Like, all of these things are how I feel about someone telling me that they have beaches in their hotels in friggin' Las Vegas. Like, what in the world, man? I'm not complaining though. I'm gonna definitely check it out because I love the beach. It's still a man-made beach. I'm still gonna check it out though and just see like what happens, and just be a 22-year-old and maybe just get lost in the desert somewhere and then come back and hopefully, you know, find my long lost self. All right, that's the end.